Hey there. It is Friday, February 3rd, and I got a couple of cool tips I want to talk about later, but I got a lot of other things I want to get to first. Although one of the tips is going to be how to play things fast. Because that's how that lick had to go. But I had to play it like thousands of times like this first. Anyway, I might talk a little bit more about that. Tips will come at the end. I'm going to talk about stretching too, and how to, I hope, unless I ramble on too long about other stuff. But this has been a lot of cool things happen this week. Let's see. First of all, I got a new song out, a lesson that I always talk about lessons I'm working on, and this is one that you didn't know I'd been working on, except you know that I've been playing this for like years, and that's of course Mann's Fate. What brought this up was a couple students were working on this last week, and I thought, there's a lot to talk about with this. There's that little intro part, then we've got the rambling part, which is just really fast picking. So that's hard. That's fast right hand technique. Then there's the percussive part. Then there's of course the hot lick. And so it's got these four short little parts, really three. I count as four separate things. Anyway, I hope some of you have had a chance to look at it, but I've got a couple students who were working on that, and I thought, it's time to put this one out in the real world. I'm working on a few other Jorma tunes. Which one? Flying Clouds. I got another student working on that, and so might have another Jorma lesson coming up in the near future. And the really unusual thing that happened this week was all of a sudden one of my preview videos went, I don't want to say viral, but got like a couple thousand hits, where it had maybe a few hundred over the 5 or 6 or 8 years that it's been up. And that was this. I guess it got played in a very emotional episode of a TV series that I wasn't too familiar with, but boy, I sure got a lot of comments on it that, hey, I stumbled onto this song because of Just Like Us, I think it was called. Anyway, and that was really cool. See, I think a few new people found their way to Totally Guitars because of the tune, long time. Which made me think, I've had another sideburner thing of other Linda Ronstadt tunes that. Now, of course, Linda didn't write anything, but she made a lot of songs really. Here's one she gave life to. That was really going nowhere with the Eagles' second album until Linda had a pretty big hit with it, and kind of really helped the Eagles kickstart their second album, which still didn't do as well as the first one or the couple that came after. So they had a few other big hits, One of These Nights and On the Border, and then of course. Where's my capo and my 12-string when I need it? Anyway. So that made me think I gotta get some other Linda tunes. Like here's another one that she made really famous. This is in the original key, which was not her key. I'm pretty sure she must have done it, I think, in E. go. Anyway, what's the other one I was thinking about doing? Oh. Hope this is the right key. Wait, let's try it again. Anyway, I might get to those. Early Linda tunes. Anyhow, okay. Enough about Linda. Just loved. I had her first 4 or 5 albums. Well, I didn't get the Stone Ponies album till later, but Silk Purse and oh man, I can see Hand Sewn. That was the first one, I think. And then I can see those other pictures, and that was all before Heart Like a Wheel. There were about 4 or 5 albums before Heart Like a Wheel that really kept her in the limelight. Let's see. To divert for a minute, I noticed we have not had a lesson from Nesh in a little while, and got some really good news from overseas. He is working on some new lessons for us. More from Cliff Richard and Seal. I think we might have Kiss from a Rose up here. I'm not sure. And a Randy Newman tune, which made me think, oh man, we have to explore Randy Newman a little bit too. So that's some stuff coming from Nesh in the near future, and all is well there, and a lot of changes. So what else? And then something else related to that I was going to talk about. No, that was it. I have been wearing my fingers to the bone. I've been playing way too much lately, and if you saw the lesson on Mann's Fate, I even had to play the opening with a thumb pick, which made me not play that lick very well, but because I don't play with a thumb pick as much anymore. And part of it was I stumbled on this book that I've had since I was a teenager, John Renbourn Guitar Pieces. And this was like a huge influence on me. There are so many songs in there that I locked myself up for months or a couple of years working on stuff like Judy. I think that's the first song in the book. And so lately, I've been flipping through there, playing some things that I used to. Here's another one I mean to do a lesson on. There we go. Where's it go? Ah. Oh, we don't want a 7th chord there. Anyway, that was probably the first place I'd heard the Earl of Salisbury, which is what that is, that even Al Stewart turned into a song called The Palace of Versailles. So if you're not familiar with that tune, I should put a link in here. I probably won't remember to put that in the description. But Al wrote a tune that went that kind of followed the chord progression. Must go to D minor. Anyway, but there are all these cool songs that Renbourn put out on his first couple albums when he was like 20, 21 years old, like You've heard me play this one before, probably. This is Debbie Ann. More to that. That one's again. Some of these are only like a minute and a half long. There was A Day at the Seaside. Oh, man. Goes to a G chord. What am I thinking? Anyhow, so these really cool little delicate pieces, and then there were a couple of monster pieces, like... Another Monday. All these just knocked me out when I first got the book, and I just had to learn them. There was one even more ridiculous than that. Oh, My Dear Boy. You've heard me play this before. Anyway, I was even toying with the idea of putting out a whole album of Renbourn's pieces. I'd have to include stuff like Bicycle Tune that I have a lesson on, a different tuning, won't do it now, Pharaoh's Rag. Anyway, okay, so I got sidetracked this week just reliving some of my teenagerhood. I guess I was probably about 18 when I got that book, and it changed my life. Okay, enough of that. Let's see, I had two last things I want to talk about. Campers, IGC folks, we got the highlight video from last year up. It's posted on the forum, so if anybody wants to take a look, there's about a 10-minute video that Larry and Kevin put together from camp. You will all get a great kick out of it, seeing yourselves, and anybody else who's thinking of joining us might get some ideas about camp coming up September 11th this year, 11th to the 15th. Okay, let me get to my tips. Let's talk about the fast, although I already kind of talked about the fast thing. Even I could take an example like Another Monday. This opening thing. There's a lot going on there. But the way to get there is to work on it, first of all, really slow, but sometimes just one or two or three notes at a time and don't even go any further. Now right there, that hammer-on and that note that comes after it are kind of tricky. But even those first three pinches, and I might even not get that far. I might just work on... This happens in classical gas. There's a part that goes... Pairs of notes done really, really fast. And every time I've had students work on that, it's like we got to work on that part first. First of all, it's the hardest, fast part in the song. But the whole thing, if you're going to play it that way, I usually have people modify it and not bother to play both notes. But if you're going to try to, you have to get it up to the speed that you want to play the song at. And so it can't be that is, you're playing that part as fast as possible. So if that part goes like this fast, that means the song's going to be going. But if I've got the song going like this, that means that part's going to go. That's, you got to work to get it up to that speed. So you got to start it slow, and maybe just work on the first 3 pinches. Work on speeding it up until you're getting, till you can't miss it. Then add the next note to it. And at that speed, I couldn't do it. I got to slow it back down. Okay. And really efficient fingering down here. Can't look like this. Can't be flying all over the place. So then I'll work on those 4 pinches. Okay, that was pretty clean. Now try a little faster. Okay, that's pretty good. This is kind of like time-lapse photography, so it won't quite go this quickly. I've done this before. Then I start thinking about the next one, but I'm going to go back, slow it down again. That's it. That's my 5 quick pinches that happen in classical gas. Well, if I can't do it at that speed pretty consistently, I'm not going to be able to go faster. It's going to fumble up. So get those 5 together, and this kind of carries over to the lick in Mann's Fate. Play it slow, and maybe just play half of it. Stop there. Decide how you're going to play with your right hand. In the lesson on this, I go through it. Okay, anyway, slow it down and shorten it to just a few notes that connect those, and then tack them on one note or one beat at a time. Stretches. I got a question on this because, and actually I want to thank Crash Cup for putting together a Guitar Pro tab for my lesson on When I'm 64. Now it has a couple of nasty stretches in it. The first one though is not bad. I do have to get from a G to a B. I need a G and a B, G at the 3rd fret, B at the 5th fret, 7th fret, sorry. And that looks like it, you might feel like that's a long stretch, but look at my hand position here. Look at where my thumb is. You can't even see it. I'm touching the back of the neck, like right about there. I'm less than halfway up the back of the neck. My hand is so low so that my hand can spread out like this instead of being in a position like this. And so, if you should be able to have your fingers, if this row of knuckles is pretty much parallel to the strings, that'll give you the most reach, the best range of whatever however far you're trying to reach. And so when I first have students try to play this G and B at the same time, they'll say it's impossible, my hand won't go that far. I'll say, well, here's what the problem is. You're kind of doing something like this with you're playing this G, reaching in at an angle like this, and this finger certainly won't get that far. This finger has to be at least parallel to the fret, and maybe even more than parallel, almost reaching back. So sometimes I'll have students put the B on at the 7th fret, and then hang on to that and try to reach back with your first finger, and it might look like this. That it's not looking like this. So now, and the way it works to that first little part in When I'm 64, it goes from 2 G's and shoots up to the B. So it's a whole wrist change position. I can't do that without bringing my elbow in closer to my ribs, twisting my wrist so that the whole palm of my hand is more, or this row of knuckles is more parallel. Then I can reach that note, or maybe even another one. Maybe even another one. Oh, let's not go there. That hurts. There's a harder one, though, in When I'm 64, because at one point you need not only the B, you need an F on the 6th fret of the 2nd string. See what I just did right there? In order to get that one, I even had to get down lower with my whole shoulder and elbow. And there are certain things I play that I know coming up that I'm going to have to change my whole, maybe even my body position, my shoulder and everything. So here, when that part comes up, now, classical guitar players will tell you that's terrible technique. You should have always been in the position that you could make that stretch. I don't always want to be in this position. But that's the position I have to be in to get that. And this, now my thumb is barely touching the back of the neck. So. Okay, I think that's most of what man. That was a lot of stuff I wanted to get through today, so a little longer than usual. Thanks for hanging with me if you're still here. And let's see what. Oh, I'm not sure which one of these things is going to happen next. I might get to the Linda Ronstadt tunes. I might get to. Oh man, another one that just fell off the radar. I talked about this last week. There's some really unusual chords in that. So, okay. I'll be back next week.